Hello, everybody. Welcome to this question and answer session with the Pattern Trader. My name is Mark Shawzin, the Pattern Trader. I'll be happy to answer a couple of your questions about the markets. I have been active in the FX markets on one pair and one pair only. I've been talking about this pair for weeks and months. It's the pound versus New Zealand dollar. Even though this has been a carnival ride, it's been a very bumpy up and down ride. I said that this is in a stealth bull market, and I think the pound New Zealand dollar is going to go thousands and thousands of pips higher. Just a week ago, we were trading around the 192 level. Now we just took out the 199 level. So it's up 700 pips in the last couple of weeks, and about 1,500 pips from the December lows around 185. We're put on a double bottom. I said that it was putting on a double bottom at that time. I said you just have to trust the pattern. And despite the fact that there's been just enormous volatility, I have been camping out long pound New Zealand dollar. I've got several open long positions right now, and I'm a happy camper. Hey Scott, how you doing? Hey Philippe. So I've been talking about the FX pair, the pound versus New Zealand dollar. If you guys have been on any of my presentations, you've heard me talk about this pair on and on. I think we're going to go thousands of pips higher in pound New Zealand. So we're trading at 199, just a hair under that 2 level. And I think, we could go another 1,000, 2,000 pips higher from here. So I've just trusted the pattern. There's been an enormous amount of volatility. You just have to withstand the volatility, be patient, have a long-term outlook, and, it will take you to the promised land. I also had a very fortuitous short sale in gold. For those on my email list on Sunday, I sent out a trade setup and suggestion in XAU USD, which is spot gold, saying to put a sell stop in spot gold at 1861. And that sell stop order got triggered. I got out today at about 1778. Made about $200,000 on that position. So that's kind of what I've been doing in the FX pairs. I'm also thinking that the dollar yen is breaking out. I started buying dollar yen. I think, dollar yen has been in a long-term downtrend for the last 5 years, and it looks like that trend is turning around. So Mustafa, great to see you too. Mustafa says he also got long pound New Zealand. Mustafa is part of our daily elite group. He said, he gets my emails for, last several days, weeks. I've been saying you just got to camp out, trust the pattern, and it will get you to the promised land. So Mustafa says, I saw a 20% return and couldn't look at the green profit. Yes, and sometimes it's dangerous to look at your account balances. So just like I caution against looking at the markets too often, you shouldn't really look at your account balances, because once you become a trader, the money washing in and then washing out of your account becomes just ridiculous. 1 minute you have 30 grand in profits, next minute you're 5 grand in losses, and you say, wow, in those 5 minutes I could have bought a car or something. So it just becomes really crazy. And so you can't really look at the money. So instead of looking at the money, I just look at the setup. I just keep looking and seeing, is what I'm looking at still true? Does it still look like that pattern is on? Does it look like the trend is real? And if it is, I'm just going to stick to the pattern. The money, the balances, my positions will take care of themselves. So in the stock market, I'm heavily long Beyond Meat, BYND. It's kind of camping out between 145 and 150. I think this consolidation area is just going to be, the calm before the storm. I think that if it breaks above 155, pound New Zealand dollar could, Beyond Meat, BYND could soar higher. So I've got a lot of call options which expire tomorrow. So, not only do I have to be right, but I've got to be right now. So I'm hoping we get a move, between now and, sometime tomorrow, that I can, get out of some of these options and then put on call options for next week. I'll also own the stock of BYND. I'm also long Tesla. So over the weekend, I also said to our members to get long Tesla. I was actually in the bear camp with Tesla, but this is where you got to surrender to what the market's telling you, not what you think it's going to do. And so, Tesla has just had a steady number of higher lows. So even though we see these bear patterns, within the bear pattern, we see these higher lows. And so I just started getting long Tesla yesterday. I bought more today. It's trading about $8 higher right now at 613. And if this kind of gets a fire under it, we could see this thing at 670 pretty quickly. So I'm long Tesla and I'm long BYND. I like the price action in Zoom, ticker symbol ZM. So let me know what you guys are trading. Let me know if you have any questions. I'm just, camping out in a few of these positions. Long pound New Zealand dollar, short gold, long dollar yen, long Tesla, and long BYND. So let me, let's have a conversation. Let me know what you're thinking. Let me know if you're looking at anything. I'm kind of pissed I didn't buy Zoom today. Zoom has had this little setup where you have a bunch of these inside bars and it was coiling and I wanted to buy it, but I've got such a full menu on that, I just can't be everywhere. So Mustafa, I've been telling you not to short the Nasdaq. I'm a bear, as you know. I'm always looking to short things. I made a lot of money in February shorting the Nasdaq, but you have to see a pattern. So in order to see the pathway lower, you have to see some kind of pattern that's going to lead you to a lower path. Now the Dow, on the other hand, has a pattern that looks like it's going to go lower. So Nasdaq going to new highs and Dow looks like it's rolling over. So if you want to short something, you should be shorting the Dow. What are my thoughts on the dollar? Dollar is going stronger. I'm short New Zealand dollar versus U.S. dollar, and I'm long dollar yen. I'm long dollar versus Japanese yen. So dollar looks higher for now. Dog wants to know about dollar Canadian. I got out of that short trade some time ago. I thought that we had some support there, and now it's turned around. So that 120 was a lot of support there. I didn't know how far the support would shoot up. We've obviously shot up quite a bit. We shot up 300 pips off the lows there. Kind of got a rounding bottom now. So the characteristics of dollar Canadian is kind of somewhat changing. I see like a downtrend line that would come in around 125. So it looks like there's still some movement on the upside in dollar Canadian. So Chris says, I'm still short gold. I just covered my gold. I don't know why. I should have just gotten out a partial, but I made a $200,000 profit in 2 days. So I just covered. Gamal wants to know about General Motors, GM. GM looks like it's got a little double top up here, doesn't it? I mean, it's in this ascending kind of thing, but looks like the Dow Jones. So this is what's been happening. You've been having this huge rotation every day, week. It's like changing my underwear. This thing changes every day. So you get a rotation from the growth to the momentum to the value, depending on what they think the Fed's doing, depending on what they think inflation is going to do. It changes all the time. And now it looks like the industrials, stocks like GM are kind of a little bit under pressure. So I think you've had a huge run in General Motors. Looks like we've got a short-term top here. I don't know that I would short it, but it looks like this ride on the upside is about to come to a little bit of an end for now. Gamal. So Gamal wants to know about ITI. Don't know if I know that ticker. Interesting. Let me just look at this on a different chart here. ITI. So I'm very much keeping an eye on Beyond Meat. You guys should put a buy stop above today's high in Beyond Meat. The high is 150.36. I would put a buy stop at 150.50 because I think there's a lot of blue sky above here if we get above this 151, 153, 155 level. Let me just check out ITI. I could be talking my own book. I'm so long I can hardly breathe in BYND. So maybe I need you guys just to keep some bids going in that market for me. I'm only kidding. ITI looks pretty interesting. I'm just kind of going back as much as I can. What is what kind of stock is this? Itiris. So yeah, this kind of looks, very interesting. It looks like we've staked out, a big foothold at the $3 to $5 level. There's a lot to clear out, but this thing gets above $8. I like this. I'm gonna write this down. I always appreciate you guys bringing me new some symbols. Run. I know run. When something doesn't do what it's supposed to do, then it's going to do the other thing. So it got stuck in a hole and had a fake move lower. So yeah, I would kind of just. Still looks like in a downtrend. You had a double bottom at 37, and so I'm not in this name right now. Let's see, Jess is any chance gold will come up? If it does, it'll give me a price action and a pattern that to suggest that it will go up. Right now, it's not doing that. Let me just check out GLD, which is the ticker symbol of. Nah, this thing looks like it could be headed a lot lower. So gold has been trading within an ascending, broadening price pattern. I was telling our members at about 1900 that it was going to come down and touch the lower end of the ascending, broadening price pattern, which I predicted between 1650 and 1700, and gold went to 1671 or something, and then it was a short-term bottom. But now we're coming back to look like we're going to retouch the lower end of that ascending, broadening price pattern. And if we break that, and it's a breach, gold's going to go back to $1,200. I know that sounds astounding, but that's what could happen. So, gold could still have a lot lower to go. I shouldn't have gotten out of all my positions. So Tesla's making new highs. Beyond Meat is close to the new highs. And what else are you guys thinking? Yeah, I'm looking at the ticker symbol GLD. So this is the SPDR, the ETF that trades gold on the New York Stock Exchange. And, it's another way to kind of look at gold. It's a proxy for gold. And you can see that it had a rounding top at the 177 area and then just gapped open. And it looks like this thing is just going to keep falling out of bed. I'm really pissed I covered my short. I didn't think it would go this far, this fast. I mean, on my email on Sunday, I had an entry at 1861. I said it was going to go to about 1800. And then typically, as something starts, darting toward my price objective, I like to move it out of the way, I don't want to stop something from making me new profits. And this thing fell so fast, it went right to 1800 yesterday. I kind of, didn't put a take profit in, on my trades. I just got out today at around 1778 or something. And it looks like it's got a lot lower to go. So I may just get back short again on a rally. So Tesla is really on the move now. I think Tesla could be putting on a monster move right now, TSLA. MK, I've been talking about gold. I think gold looks like it could go a lot lower. Thomas says, is Apple topping? Probably not. No, actually just the other way. And the stock I like that's been in a slumber for a long time, Amazon. This thing looks like it's been in a 10-month consolidation, and now it looks like it's going to go the other way. I'm going to, put some of my safe money, that I'm just going to park in Amazon. I think Amazon could put on another, 30% move here. So MK says, how much do I think gold could go lower? Gold could go back to $1,200. I know that sounds astounding, but gold's been trading within this ascending, broadening triangle. Let me kind of draw this out here. Um, yeah, gold is just plummeting. So I just want to draw this, see where this intersect of this ascending, broadening price pattern comes in. So yeah, we're almost back there again. The intersect would be around call it 1725. So if we take out 1725, go to 1700, and take out the lower end of this thing, then I can tell you where gold's going back to. It's going back to about $1,200. Mustafa says, would you short gold now? Well, I mean, Mustafa, I hate to, be FOMO, chase momentum, but it looks like it's in a free fall. So yes, it looks like gold's going to go a lot lower. But if you short it here and it goes up another $15, don't assassinate me. So maybe you try and wait for a rally, short into a rally. Philippe says, I feel like Baidu is starting to stall. I kind of feel the same way. I've been looking at Baidu, and it's kind of stopped going down, although the chart still looks pretty bad. I still think it's a very descending chart. I would not buy this chart. I would not buy this. It stopped going down, but but look, you look at runs. Sometimes, when these things stop, going down, they do go higher. So you can never tell. I'm looking like QuantumScape, as to whether QuantumScape is, trying to grab a foothold here, QS. Making a new high right now. So yeah, I mean, these things, when they stop going down, they go higher. And, especially these stocks that have been trod on, you get these short covering rallies that could, rattle your teeth. So kind of look at like the look of QuantumScape right now. I may just buy some right now. Just took out the last 2 days high has been around 2670. We're trading about 2690 now. And let me just, I'm just going to buy some QuantumScape right now. I just bought 20,000 shares of QuantumScape. So let's see how that goes. Dog UAA. That looks like, Under Armour. It's got a nice head and shoulders, and it's just broken out to the downside, hasn't it? This thing looks like it's going to go lower. Yep. UAA just broke out to the downside. GME. Yeah, well, I wouldn't touch those stocks. That's eventually going to come crashing down, but eventually is the key word. So, I think you've seen the highs, but who knows? I mean, this thing is just a crazy phenomenon. AMC, GME, just AMC is now going back to its old highs. So you're getting just this craziness, back in the markets. And so it's just a very short covering environment. Stocks that have been trod on like Run and QuantumScape and whatever, they look bad, but even Baidu, maybe it just comes out of nowhere. I don't think I would really touch Baidu. I think there's a lot of other things that I would rather buy. Let's see. Look around. It says I placed a counter trade on dollar Canadian earlier this week. bought it at 121.50, hopefully up to one. Yeah, so there was long-term support there. So I was short for like 6 weeks. If you guys remember, I started shorting around 124 and a half, and then started just arbitrarily, covering because there was long-term support there. So even before it started turning around, I said, look, it's probably not worth trying to chase another dollar here, and suggested our members get out. It was a hair above the 120 area. And yeah, then it slowly just put on a rounding bottom, and now it's kind of gone the other way. Yeah, so Zoom, Philippe, I'm kind of upset. I didn't get that today. I was looking at it. I think it's looked like it could push a lot higher from here. We're in this like 3-day coil. You broke out of the last 3-day inside day bars. And so, yeah, I think this thing is headed higher. I just wish Beyond Meat would get going. I want it to break out of this consolidation. I've got a bunch of call options in BYND and the stock. And it's just been hovering in this trading range, but I think it breaks. It's kind of got an inverted head and shoulders. I think maybe by next week, unfortunately, my calls go off the board tomorrow. And, if it doesn't move by tomorrow, then, I might make a little bit, but probably not as much as I could make if this thing starts shooting up. So I'm going to probably start looking at buying some call options for next week at some point tomorrow. If I get a break in prices, I'll use that break to buy the call options for next week in BYND. Baron says, Morgan Stanley and all the analysts love run. I don't really care what Morgan Stanley or any analysts are saying. When I was shorting Beyond Meat at 147, an analyst came out and said Beyond Meat's going to 186. Now, it could, I hope it does now, but from the time that analyst made that call, Beyond Meat went from 147 to 100, and I was short. So, everything's a question of timing. They may be right in the long run. A broken clock is right twice a day. So, I like run only by virtue of what it didn't do. So sometimes Beyond Meat, when things should go lower, like run and Beyond Meat, and they don't, if something doesn't go lower, it's going to go higher, and it's probably going to go higher very quickly. And that's what Beyond Meat is. I'm hoping that, it just comes out of here like a bat out of hell. Ride, probably wouldn't touch that. You may see some short covering. There's, you could buy it here. There's probably a decent risk reward. If you risk a dollar, in this market you could make $5. The market just, these game stoppers are just trying to find anything that has a huge short position, and then step on it, and then it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. So this is what's going on in the markets right now, is that the markets, these Reddit, these bandits are giving companies that should be bankrupt, that probably would be bankrupt, but then they give them a second life. And then when their stock's higher, they're able to sell more stock, raise more money, and then that gives them life again. So it's like a very unique, different phenomenon now, where like Hertz rental cars should have, gone out of business. It was bankrupt. They should have just let it go out of business. But all it needed was a bridge loan, because it had all of this inventory of used cars. Used cars now are shooting up because there are none of them. And now Hertz, went through a reorganization and went from $1 to $5. So the market is giving these, zombie companies new life just by financial, machinations. For no other reason. You can't buy Lordstown on it. It's a broke out of business company that can't even produce its first car. By every rights, it should be trading at $1, but you may see this thing at 20. The market starts, dumping on the short. The shorts have to cover. The stock goes to 15. The company is now able to do a secondary, raise more money, and then all of a sudden it has life again. So it's a very crazy phenomenon. Reddit saves the world. I think they're going to eventually take down the world, but that's another discussion. Let's see, Baba. Also kind of at this double bottom area here, where you could say, is this an area that's going to hold? And you could probably take a good risk reward here. Bet $2 to make 20. Who knows? Anything could happen in this environment. So it's at an area where it could grab a little foothold. This is what Run did. It looked really bad. It looked like this. It grabbed a foothold at the low and then went the other way. So this is kind of a dangerous environment to be short in. You got to be really sure what you're shorting. One of the companies that I'm looking at shorting is Okta, OKTA. It's got a huge double top, and right now you're rallying, which I love that. The more it rallies, it gives me a chance to really short it at a good time. So I'm going to see when this rally starts running out of steam. But Okta seems like it's got this massive double top. So OKTA. So I'm kind of keeping an eye on that. Thanks, Mustafa, for your continuous support. Yeah, so we're trading at 150 on the offer right now on BYND. If you guys, I don't want to tell you what to do. I would put a buy stop on the new high today. It's about 50 cents away. Because I think this is one of these things that these Reddit guys could find also. This has been on the list of short stocks and what have you, and I think some of the fundamentals are turning around. I don't really care. What happened was that you had this giant trap where in BYND it fell under that 113 level, should have gone much lower thereafter, went to 100, and then it started turning right back up through that neckline around 113, and I kind of had a feeling it was a trap. 2 weeks ago, I started buying the stock at 121. I started buying the call options, the 125, 126 call options, and the stock went to 152 in 3 days. And I think it's going to do something like this where it comes out of this 150 and then you'll see it at 180. So I think that's a stock that I really like just for a pop. I think Tesla could also catch an amazing, tailwind. That's a stock that looked like it was going down, and it's like a beach ball. If you can't get it lower, it's going to, go much higher. So what else do you guys think? Are you guys trading the FX markets? The FX markets have been pretty quiet. The dollar's been pretty quiet, but now I think the dollar's starting to strengthen. And again, that's counter to what everybody's been saying for the last 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks. Dollar's weakening. The Federal Reserve is, too much money's out there. Dollar's going down. Bitcoin's going up. And then you see how it changes. And so you can't follow what people are saying. So MK says, I'm long euro. Is that euro versus US dollar? Probably don't want to be long euros right now. Yeah. Euro's put on its double top at 122. I wouldn't be short. I wouldn't be long the euro right now. Mustafa says, I made a fantastic return on BYND just following Mark in the elite email. So yeah, I wanted to put a buy stop again. So I had a buy stop the other day, Mustafa, at what was it, 150, 130 or something. And then it didn't get hit. It just went lower thereafter. But, when the setups are still there, even though I might not send another email, the setups are still good. If you, leave that pending order in there, then you don't have to worry about it. If the market never gets there, the pending order never gets triggered. But if the pending order gets triggered, chances are it was, a good order. It just wasn't the right time. And that's the beauty of putting a pending order in. You're not putting the market until it's ready to go. So we keep bumping up against this 150 on the offer in BYND. I want to see it just explode through there. Tesla's making new highs. So Damon says, I made a tidy profit on Tesla, got it from 619 to 608. So you shorted it. I would probably turn around and buy it. Probably be at 630 today. Yes, Paul, you're right. My emails do say delete the orders, on the daily. And that's true. But, what I try and achieve through the pattern trader, is kind of highlight the patterns that are operating. And, like pound New Zealand dollar, to me, the underlying patterns were always good, but it was just like a carnival ride, for the last several weeks. Went from 198 to 192, back to 197, back to 193, so to my mind, the pattern is still there. So yeah, it's very hard to run this, a program for the public. So I try and do my best to try and, make a certain amount of rules that in the main, are good rules. But, if I show you a pattern from, many weeks ago in Lyft or something like that, and then we go on to something else, you should just, keep watching, these patterns. And so, yeah, you're right. I mean, I can't have it both ways. And so, but I'm telling you now, put a buy stop in BYND. I did say cancel. I do say cancel it after each day. It wasn't triggered, so that's fair. But again, I've been talking about this position every day. I've been doing a daily tutorial. If I'm doing one last one tonight, it's a free webinar series. If you want to attend, just send a. Maybe I can go to Zoom and find the link. I'm doing one more free webinar tonight. And let me see if I can find the link to that. I think this is the link. And that's at 4:30 Eastern Standard Time. And this is, I've been talking about these patterns in BYND and gold and all of these things in these daily. It's, hard for me to, in a conversation where I can't show the charts what I'm thinking. But, that's where these interactive sessions, I can show the chart. Look for says, I shorted the New Zealand dollar. After looking at the chart you showed, I'm hoping it can go 300 pips, but who knows? Yeah, so I got short the other day before the Fed meeting in New Zealand, US. And I think that New Zealand dollar on balance is the weakest currency right now. So obviously against the British pound, that's why I favor the pound versus New Zealand dollar. So New Zealand dollar is kind of crashing across the board. It's crashing again now. So I'm about 170 pips in the pink on that. It's in a little support zone around 69.50, and about another 50 pips. It should hit a minor level of support, but this thing looks like it's, ready to crash. So Philippe say, wouldn't you say dollar yen might get a double top? I've been looking for dollar yen to turn lower, Philippe. I don't think so. I think you buy this. This has kind of got a cadence of lower highs, and even though you reversed right at the 111 resistance level. I would keep buying it. So now we're right at the highs on Beyond Meat. Haven't taken out the 150.36, but we're a hair away. And Tesla's 618 now. I bought it at 604 this morning. I just wish this Beyond Meat would catch some fire. And Zoom looks great too. I think Tesla could just be on fire here. I just get a feeling that this thing's going to get lit up. Again, it's a lot of these things is by virtue of what isn't happening. So, Tesla was resting on this long-term trend line. I didn't think it would catch another bid there. I thought it would go through there. And we've got a case. I'm looking at the weekly chart. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks. You've got higher lows. So that's a definition of a beginning of an uptrend. Higher lows. Now you got to start having higher highs. So I think we're starting to break out of the high of last week. So we've got a higher high and a higher low from last week. So I think you're starting to get a base here that this thing can really launch from. So Thomas says, I'm still not sure why you like to use a buy stop instead of a buy limit. Well, if you think about it, if you like something, you want to confirm it on momentum. So if I like a setup, I want the market to confirm it. So if I'm looking to buy and, the market's kind of trading lower, then I want, the market to confirm. So if the market keeps going lower, then my buy stop is never triggered. But if the market goes lower and then hits my buy stop, then it confirms the momentum. The problem with a buy limit is you want to buy something. Japanese yen closes at, 109.70. And you think it's going up. So now what do? You put your limit in at what? 109.20, and then it goes to 109.35 and then goes higher. So how do you know where to put that limit in? It's arbitrary. So, and you're trying to anticipate when it's going to go down and when it's going to go up. By putting a buy stop there, you don't have to worry about it. The market's just going to put you in whenever. So, as I said, a couple days ago, I had a resting order in Beyond Meat at 150.50, and it didn't get triggered because it went down to like 144 in that time frame. But now if you had that buy stop there, by the time the market is ready to go, then the market puts you in at the time and price that it's ready to go. You don't have to worry about, so, with a limit order, it's just very difficult. Let's say I wanted to short gold. And instead of putting my sell stop at 1861, let's say I put a sell limit at 1887, and it gets to 1885, and now it's $200 lower. So I missed my limit order by $2. But in the meantime, if I had my sell stop, the market just went there, hit my stop, and then put me in the market. So the limit orders are by definition, limiting, and it's just. You're playing a guessing game as to where something's going to stop before it turns around and goes the other way. So sometimes I will do a limit order in a very big range day where there's been a huge key reversal. I think it's still going to go lower, but I think it feels like it needs to get back in that other bar. And then I'll put a limit order somewhere, but it's a guessing game as to where to put it, how much it's going to retreat to, when it retreats, then is it going to fall? So I do that very rarely. I try and use my execution orders to confirm what I'm looking at. And so stop orders confirm the momentum. The sell stop confirms. So if gold's at 1887 and your sell stop sitting at 1861, it could go around between 1887, 1905, what have you. In the middle of the night, you're sleeping and then it hits 1861 and you wake up in the morning, you've got $100 profit in your account. Where at the limit order, how are you going to, figure out where it's going to go to, where it's going to stop. So I use limit orders very rarely. So new highs on BYND. So, as long as I'm making money, I'll talk to you guys. I'm just kidding. So what do you think about New Zealand dollar Canadian? So I'm also short New Zealand dollar Canadian. As I've stated, I think that New Zealand dollar versus everything is going weaker. So I have a rest, I'm short. It's sitting on this ledge at 86.50, and it looks like it's about to go off the ledge. So that's, really my menu. Long pound New Zealand, likely long dollar yen, short gold, just covered, although there was no reason to cover. So my, my call option, this is the thing. I have a bunch of, call options and shares. I'm up $75,000 in one account and probably the same in another on BYND, and it hasn't even gotten started. So that's, the beauty of, leverage, these options. You can get 2-to-1, 3-to-1. I bought these Beyond Meat options 2 weeks ago at $1.55, and I got out at $23.50. So, that pays for a lot of losses. And I think, it's going to do the same thing here. I think this thing is going to catch fire. Gets above this 155 resistance level. And there's just green air above here. What was last week's high? It was about 157. So it looks like we have a key reversal this week where, earlier in the week we went lower. I'm imagining we're going to close, higher on the week tomorrow. And that'll be a key reversal in the direction of the trend. So I'm going to probably start looking at buying these call options for next week. I should have done it today on a break. I'm just so loaded up right now. It's just kind of stupid to, go so heavy in one thing. So next week, let's see, the 170. Let's just have fun here. The 170 call options, they're expensive. They're $1. So you're trading at 151. You're $22 out of the money, and it has to work by next week. So by next week, in order for you to break even on these dollar calls, Beyond Meat has to close at 171, $21 higher than where it is now. And I have a feeling you'll make money on those calls. I was hoping they would be cheaper. I was going to look to buy them for 30 or 50 cents or something. So, but they'll probably pay. I mean, it's one of those things where the market could get just an amazing liftoff. So we'll see what happens. Mustafa says, what's the final thought on Nasdaq? And looks like the path of least resistance is higher. It's breaking through these highs. I mean, it's making all-time new highs. This thing is like now broken out above this ascending triangle, Mustafa. Now looks like it can go another level. Looks like it's just getting started. So this is the thing when we think, if things are at a high, how can we wrap our mind around something going higher? And it looks like it could. And the thing is when, we start getting into these areas, Mustafa, where, it starts like today, the range is starting to expand. So what I would watch for is, an explosive movement, even on the weekly where you get huge bars now. And that'll signify that there's more, speculative fervor and emotional fervor chasing. And that'll probably tell you when you're getting closer. That's what happened in gold. When gold ratcheted up from $1,500 to $2,100, in 3 weeks, each one of those weekly things, it went up $100. It just started ratcheting up the thing. And that's what I would look for. That's kind of how you kind of see if a market's going to start ending, when a lot of speculation in retail and emotionalism. But then you still have to see a pattern emerge, right? So it doesn't just go straight up and then straight down. It needs to kind of build away. So for right now, the path of least resistance is higher. You can't fight it. And, right now, I think like stocks like Tesla and Beyond Meat, I'm just looking to ride this momentum. Tesla's at 619 now, up from 600 this morning. It's up $19 today. I'm long QuantumScape. I just bought some QuantumScape with you guys on the line just for fun because it broke out of the last 3 days high. So sometimes when it makes a new high, you say to yourself, well, it's not going to go lower today. I don't know. So I don't know what it's going to do. I just bought it for fun. I just wanted to, see if it's one of these things that just catches fire. And it just may. So, I mean, the whole board is, going higher. While the Dow Jones is going lower. So, you got to, again, this is a stock picker's market. You've got to, understand the stocks you're holding. What else am I looking at? There's a small little stock called STEM, STEM. I really like that thing. I think that thing looks like it's going to go into the 50s. I had a lot of that. I got out of it, and I kind of now wish I was back in it. Another little stock, KTOS, that I'm looking at. It looks like it's got some interesting bottoms here. I was looking at it's trading at what, $26.50. I was looking at the 30 call options that expire in a month. You can buy them for about 50 cents. And I was fooling around with, buying those today. I'm just so locked and loaded on some of these stocks. I don't want to spread myself too thin. Complete Well says, should we stay away from the Nasdaq 100? I feel like it's too. So when you say stay away from the stock, stay away from buying the QQQs. What do you mean? So it looks like no, the Nasdaq stocks look like they're ready to put on another leg here. Could be a big one. Because remember, the markets, the growth stocks sold off for the last 6-8 months on higher interest rates. And now, it looks like rates are coming down. It looks like inflation could be more transitory than people thought. And so perceptions change, and when they do, they can go the other way in a hurry. So Beyond Meat going up, it's up 2.5% for the day, up $4 for the day. I'm locked and loaded. I probably got the equivalent of over 100,000 shares in Beyond Meat. Will oil fall before going up? Probably not. Looks like the path of least resistance for now in oil is higher. Would not fight that. Remember that for anything to fall, like the Nasdaq or anything, it has to have some kind of setup. It has to have some kind of pattern. It has to have some kind of, area. Now, oil is getting to that $75 resistance level. There's a long-term resistance there. And I imagine you could just bump and grind up there. Maybe come off. The 198 area was a formidable area for pound New Zealand. Every time it hit there, it came off quite a bit. But as you can see, it just bumped and grind, and now, it's taken that area out. So, oil kind of looks like the same thing, where it looks like there's a lot of resistance up there, but I would not short it. All right, guys, check out my webinar later. I'll talk about all of these things and then actually show you what, I'm looking at on the chart. So I don't just pull these ideas out of a hat. To me, it's all about empirical price action. So I kind of draw my boundaries. I draw a structure around prices to kind of give them some kind of logical sequence. Otherwise it looks pretty random. And then I kind of see what the market does around that. And sometimes we see bear patterns. And if the market doesn't act bearishly, then, I know something's going on. And so sometimes I'll buy something just because, something's not acting the way it should. I know that doesn't sound reasonable, but, I made $1 million last week in Beyond Meat just for that reason. I thought it was going to, go higher because it wasn't going lower. I know that sounds insane. All right, Mustafa, see you UK time. Let's see, Complete says, it's still on an uptrend, but I feel like stocks are overvalued because it's from all-time high and keeps going up. So, your feelings are just feelings. They're emotions. They have nothing to do with reality. You got to just look at, what's in front of you and trade. Just trade the charts. That's all. The charts will tell you. Yes, things feel like, they're overvalued, but they can become more overvalued. So, yeah. So MK says it's not very transparent to only tell your wins. You're right, but on my webinars every day this week, I showed you extracts from my account and showed you that I was losing $15,000 yesterday in Beyond Meat. I had 10,000 shares at an average price of around 148. They were trading around 145. I was losing $15,000 on that position. I was losing in some options. I showed yesterday all of my stock positions, which had a net loss of $8,000. of all the stocks and the options I was holding, I was showing a net loss. And then in my FX, I was showing like 297,000 in gains. So I just show my accounts, and whatever is happening that day, win, lose, or draw, I show. So I lose all the time. What I do is I wipe those losses out very quickly. So this stock of STEM, I bought 47,000 shares at around $30, and it went to about $35. I was making $150,000. And then the next day it came back down, and I gave it all back, and I just cleaned it out. So it, didn't show like I had a loss in the account, but I just got out. I lost $150,000 in profits in a day. So, what I try and do is I try and get rid of the losses very, very quickly. So even STEM, I thought it would go back up, but I've kind of just gotten into this pattern that, I don't, if something's not right or whatever, I'm just going to bang it out and then work with the winners. So it may look like I'm always, in the winning. It's just because I'm banging out the losses so fast. So I'm not going to invent some winners losers to show you. So right now, all my accounts in the green. So hopefully by tonight, when I show you my account, it will be hopefully in the green. But it is what it is. I mean, it's just because I've gotten out of so many losses. I was short run, and I actually had the puts in run the day before last, and then run, went way down. It went from like 46 to 43, and my puts were in, really, high profits. And then the next day yesterday it opened higher. I kind of didn't believe it. And then by the time I got out, I went from a big profit in those put options to a sizable loss. So, but I just cleaned it out. I mean, I'm sorry I didn't save it to show you. So I take losses all the time. But the idea is to have your winners outstrip your losers by a huge measure. So in 3 days last week, in Beyond Meat 2 weeks ago, I made 1.2 million. So you could lose a lot and still be way ahead of the game. And that's what I try and do. I try and make my winners much bigger than my losers. So if I buy call options, I'm looking for those calls to make me at least 3 to 5 times what I put up, because many times, like run, I'll get out with 50% losses, sometimes 100% losses. Certainly with options, you're not going to be right all the time. But just in 2 plays this year, shorting the Nasdaq in February and buying Beyond Meat 2 weeks ago, I made $2 million on those calls. And I've lost a whole bunch in between, but I'm still way ahead. Complete says, I want to join your membership. So Complete, you can talk about our memberships or inquire. I don't really deal with that. Here's the link to our. Also, we'll be having a webinar tonight. I put the link somewhere in this presentation. If you want to be on the call, we'll give you a link to our program. We call it the $200,000 program, because I show you that I'm making $5,000 or more on an average trade. And we started talking with our team, and we figured in order to make $500,000 on a trade, you need to have $200,000 in your account. So what we've done is we built a program at the Pattern Trader where we'll look at do an individual assessment and customize a plan for you to get you to a $200,000 trading account by virtue of what you have now, what you can put in, what your compounded returns are, and we'll try and put you on a pathway to building a $200,000 account where you can make trades that average $5,000 in the market. So check it out, and if you're interested in anything else we want to do, just contact our team, support at thepatterntrader.com, and they'll let you know. I do all kinds of support things. I do something on Fridays where I do a private group training for people in that membership program and go through all of the markets in great detail. So we have a lot. If you're interested in, my trading methodology, then we have a lot to support you. But thank you for asking. So Philippe, thank you for that endorsement. Thank you, Mustafa, for your endorsements. Really, really appreciate it. All right, guys, I think I'm going to love and leave you there. I'll be talking a lot more tonight, so I'll save my voice. And, for those of you, I'll see you later. If not, have a great, healthy, and prosperous trading day. We'll see you next time.